The soft beep of the alert system pulled Lieutenant Commander Jack Nelson from his thoughts. He looked up from his tablet at the main view screen of the USV Pathfinder's bridge. The vast emptiness of space stared back at him, dotted with distant stars. "Commander, we're picking up something unusual," said Officer Lisa Ray from her station. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel. "It's a signal, sir. Nothing like our standard frequencies." Jack stood up and walked over to her station. At 35, he was younger than most second-in-commands on deep space vessels, but his record spoke for itself. 6 years of exploration missions had earned him this position on humanity's most advanced ship. "Let me see," he said, leaning over to look at the readings. The signal pattern pulsed in an ordered sequence that was clearly not natural. "Have you tried running it through the translator?" "Yes, sir. Nothing matches our database." The door to the bridge slid open as Captain Ellen Frost entered. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. "Report," she said simply. Jack turned to face her. "We've detected an unusual signal from the edge of the Kuiper Belt, Captain. Definitely artificial, but not matching any known pattern." Captain Frost's eyebrows rose slightly, the most surprise she ever showed. "Artificial? From beyond Neptune's orbit?" "Yes, ma'am. It appears to be some kind of beacon." The year was 2157. Humanity had spread throughout the solar system, with colonies on Mars and mining operations as far as the moons of Saturn. But despite all their searching, they had found no signs of intelligent life beyond Earth, until now. The captain studied the signal pattern on the main screen. "Earth Command should be notified immediately." "Already done, Captain," said Communications Officer Ben Miller. "They're requesting we hold position and wait for instructions." Captain Frost frowned. She was not someone who liked to sit and wait when there was exploring to be done. She looked at Jack. "Your thoughts, Commander?" Jack didn't hesitate. "The signal is weak, Captain. By the time Earth Command decides what to do, we might lose it completely. I recommend we move closer while maintaining safe distance." The captain nodded slowly. "Agreed. Helm, set course for the signal origin. Keep us at half-light speed until we're closer." "Yes, Captain," replied Helm Officer Danny Ward, his hands already inputting the commands. As the Pathfinder changed course, Jack felt a familiar mix of excitement and anxiety in his stomach. This was why he had joined the Space Exploration Corps, for moments like this. 3 hours later, they reached the outer edge of the Kuiper Belt. The signal was much stronger now. "I'm detecting a small object," reported Science Officer Kate Miller, "approximately 200 meters in length. Metal composition. Wait." She paused, her eyes widening. "Captain, it's artificial, and it's not one of ours." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. "On screen," ordered Captain Frost. The main view screen flickered and showed a distant object. As the ship's cameras zoomed in, they could see it was clearly a vessel of some kind. Its design was unlike anything built by humans, sleek, with curved lines that seemed to flow like water frozen in motion. Parts of it glowed with a soft blue light, while other sections appeared damaged. "Life signs?" asked the captain. Kate checked her readings. "One faint life sign, Captain. Can't determine species from this distance." Jack stepped forward. "Captain, permission to prepare a boarding team. If someone's alive on that ship, they might need help." Captain Frost looked at the alien vessel on the screen. This was a historic moment. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. Earth Command would want them to wait, to follow first contact protocols developed by people who had never actually met an alien. But someone might be dying on that ship. "Prepare your team, Commander," she said firmly. "We're going to offer assistance. That's what we would want if the situation was reversed." Jack nodded, already mentally selecting his team. As he left the bridge, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. For him, for the Pathfinder, and for all of humanity. Jack checked his spacesuit one last time before looking at his small team. Medical Officer Diana Wright was securing her emergency medical kit, while Engineer Sam Powell tested his scanning equipment. Both were the best at what they did, and Jack trusted them completely. "Remember," Jack said, his voice clear through the helmet comm, "we don't know what we'll find in there. Stay alert and stay together." "I still think this is crazy," Sam muttered, but he was smiling. "First alien contact, and we're just walking right in." Diana tapped her medical scanner. "If someone's hurt in there, human or not, I need to help them." The airlock hissed as it sealed behind them. Through the small window, Jack could see Captain Frost watching them. She gave a small nod. The short trip across open space to the alien ship took only minutes. Up close, the damage to the vessel was much worse than it had appeared from a distance. Large sections of its outer hull were torn open, revealing strange technology underneath. "Looks like it was attacked," Sam said quietly. Jack touched the ship's surface carefully. Despite the damage, he could feel a slight vibration. "It still has power." They found an entrance through one of the damaged sections. Inside, soft blue light came from strips along the walls. The air was breathable according to their scanners, but they kept their helmets on as a precaution. "These markings," Diana said, pointing to symbols etched into the walls. "They're not random. This is language." Sam whistled as he scanned a control panel. "This technology is incredible. I've never seen anything like it. It's at least 100 years ahead of our best stuff." Jack looked at his scanner. "The life sign is getting stronger. This way." They moved deeper into the ship, passing rooms with strange equipment and large viewing screens. In one room, they found what looked like star maps showing systems far beyond human exploration. "Jack," Diana called from ahead, "I think I found them." She stood before a sealed door that glowed with a soft purple light. Jack's scanner confirmed the life sign was just beyond. "Can we open it?" he asked. Sam studied the control panel beside the door. "I think so. It looks like it's designed to recognize touch." Carefully, Jack placed his hand on the panel. To his surprise, it lit up in response. The door slid open silently. Inside was a circular room with a single pod in the center. The pod was transparent, filled with a glowing blue liquid. Floating inside was a humanoid figure. "It's a stasis chamber," Diana whispered, moving closer. "Similar to what we use for long-distance travel, but much more advanced." The figure inside was clearly female. Her skin was a soft violet color, with faint luminescent patterns that seemed to shift and move. Her features were surprisingly human-like. 2 arms, 2 legs, a face with eyes, nose, and mouth, but with subtle differences that marked her as definitely not human. Her hair was white as snow and floated around her head like a halo. Jack approached the pod carefully. The scanner showed the life signs were stable but weak. "Can we help her?" he asked Diana. Before she could answer, the liquid in the pod began to drain. The team stepped back, watching as the chamber opened with a soft hiss. The alien's eyes remained closed as the pod lifted her into a sitting position. Her chest rose and fell with slow breaths. "What do we do now?" Sam whispered. "We wait," Jack replied, unable to look away from the alien's face. As if hearing his voice, the alien's eyes fluttered open. They were unlike any eyes Jack had ever seen, golden irises that seemed to glow from within. She looked around the room before her gaze settled on Jack. For a moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, the alien's lips curved into a smile. It was such a human expression that Jack felt a shock of recognition run through him. The alien leaned forward slightly, her golden eyes fixed on Jack's face. When she spoke, her voice was soft and musical, but the words were unmistakably English. "You finally came," she said. Jack's heart pounded in his chest. 1,000 questions raced through his mind, but all he could manage to say was, "You speak our language." The alien's smile widened. "I've been waiting for you for a very long time." Jack stared at the violet-skinned alien, trying to process her words. She spoke English. She had been waiting for them. None of this made sense. "Who are you?" he finally asked. The alien tried to stand but swayed on her feet. Diana rushed forward to steady her. "My name is Lyra," she said, her voice growing stronger. "I am a scout from the Astrali people." Sam kept his distance, still scanning her with his equipment. "How do you know our language?" Lyra's golden eyes moved to him. "We have been watching Earth for a very long time. Learning your languages was necessary." Jack helped Diana guide Lyra to sit on the edge of the pod. Up close, the patterns on her skin seemed to pulse with a soft light. "Your ship is damaged," Jack said. "What happened?" Lyra's face darkened with what looked like sadness. "The Krell attacked me. They destroyed my engines and communications. I barely escaped with my life." "The Krell?" Diana asked. "They are. The best word in your language would be hunters. They destroy or enslave advanced civilizations. They have been moving through this part of the galaxy for centuries." Jack exchanged looks with his team. If what she was saying was true, this was far bigger than just finding an alien ship. "Why were you coming to our solar system?" he asked. Lyra looked directly at him. "To warn you. The Krell are heading toward Earth next." The room fell silent. Jack felt a chill run down his spine, despite his suit's temperature controls. "Why would they target Earth?" Diana asked. "We're not that advanced compared to your people." Lyra's lips curved into a small smile. "No, but you have something special. Something the Astrali and many other species lack." "What's that?" Jack asked. "Adaptability. Resilience." Lyra touched the wall of her ship. "My people developed technology in peace. We never had to fight for survival like humans have. When the Krell first appeared, many advanced civilizations fell quickly because they didn't know how to face such aggression." Sam moved closer, his scanner forgotten. "But humans do." Lyra nodded. "Your entire history is filled with conflict and struggle, yet you always survive. You adapt. You find ways to overcome impossible odds. The Astrali Council believes humans might be key allies against the Krell." Jack tried to process this information. It seemed impossible that aliens had been watching Earth, evaluating humans as potential allies in some galactic conflict. "We need to take you back to our ship," he decided. "Our captain needs to hear this, and you need medical attention." Lyra hesitated. "Your leaders may not believe me. The Krell are experts at making their targets doubt and fight among themselves until it's too late. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it," Jack said, using the human expression without thinking. To his surprise, Lyra smiled at the phrase. "Yes, one step at a time. That is very human." As they helped Lyra toward the exit, Jack's communicator beeped. "Nelson here," he answered. Captain Frost's voice came through. "Commander, Earth Command has responded to our report. They're ordering us to secure the alien and return to Earth immediately. A quarantine team will meet us in orbit." Jack looked at Lyra, who was listening carefully. "Understood, Captain. We have a survivor. Female, appears humanoid, and Captain, she speaks English." There was a pause before Frost replied. "Get her to the ship, Commander. Now." As they made their way back to the Pathfinder, Lyra stopped to look at Earth's distant sun. "I studied your people for so long," she said quietly, "but I never thought I would meet humans under these circumstances." "You keep saying you finally came," Jack said. "Were you expecting us specifically?" Lyra turned those golden eyes to him again. "The Astrali have watched humans for generations. We knew that someday you would reach the stars and join the wider galaxy. I just didn't expect it to happen when the Krell threat was so close." As they approached the airlock to the Pathfinder, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that Lyra wasn't telling them everything. But looking at her face, so alien yet with expressions so familiar, he also couldn't shake the feeling that humanity's future had just changed forever. The medical bay of the USV Pathfinder was quiet except for the soft beeping of equipment. Lyra sat on the examination table while Diana ran her scans. Jack stood nearby, watching the aliens' reactions to their technology. She seemed both curious and amused by their medical devices. "Your physiology is remarkable," Diana said, studying her scanner. "You appear humanoid, but your internal structure is quite different. Your blood carries oxygen like ours, but it's purple instead of red." Lyra nodded. "My people evolved on a world with a different atmosphere than Earth, but we adapted to survive in many environments." "Can all your people speak English?" Jack asked. "No, I was specially trained for first contact with humans." Lyra's golden eyes studied Jack's face. "Those of us who study Earth learn your main languages. I also speak Mandarin, Hindi, and Spanish." Captain Frost entered the medical bay, her face serious. "Commander, a word." Jack followed the captain into the corridor outside. "Earth Command is not happy we brought an alien aboard without proper protocols," Frost said in a low voice. "There will be questions when we return." "She needed medical attention, Captain," Jack replied. "And her warning about these Krell aliens may or may not be true," Frost interrupted. "We need to be careful, Commander. This could be some kind of trick." Jack frowned. "You think she's lying?" "I think we know nothing about her species or their motives. Keep that in mind when you speak with her." When Jack returned to the medical bay, he found Lyra examining a tablet Diana had given her. Her slender violet fingers moved across the screen with easy familiarity. "Your technology is simple, but effective," Lyra said, looking up at him. "Very practical." "That's us humans, practical," Jack replied with a slight smile. He sat beside her examination table. "Tell me more about your people." Over the next few days, as the Pathfinder traveled back toward Earth, Jack spent hours with Lyra. She told him about the Astrali, a peaceful civilization that had mastered space travel thousands of years before humans. They valued knowledge and harmony above all else. "We live much longer than humans," she explained one day as they shared a meal in the ship's dining area. The crew still kept their distance, watching the alien with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. "The average Astrali lives about 400 Earth years." "That's a long time," Jack said, watching her carefully cut her food with a fork. She'd adapted to human customs quickly. "It gives us time to learn and explore," she replied. "But it also makes us cautious, sometimes too cautious." "Is that why you were sent instead of a full diplomatic team?" Lyra's expression grew serious. "Many on the council believed we should continue our policy of non-interference. They thought humans weren't ready." She looked directly at him. I disagreed. "Why?" Jack asked. Before she could answer, an alarm sounded. Jack's communicator beeped. "Commander to the bridge," came Captain Frost's voice. Jack and Lyra rushed to the bridge. The main screen showed the space ahead of them. Near Neptune's orbit, small objects moved against the blackness of space. "What are we looking at?" Jack asked. Science Officer Kate Miller looked up from her station. "Unknown vessels, Commander. They appeared suddenly near Neptune. They don't match any known design." Lyra moved forward, her golden eyes widening as she studied the screen. "Krell scout ships," she said quietly. "They're already here." "Are you certain?" Captain Frost asked sharply. Lyra nodded. "I can help you modify your sensors to confirm. The Krell use a specific type of energy signature." Jack watched as the crew looked to Captain Frost for direction. The captain studied Lyra for a long moment before nodding. "Show us," she said. With Lyra's guidance, they adjusted their sensors. The screen changed, showing bright energy signatures around the distant ships. "They're scanning the outer planets," Lyra said, "looking for defenses and resources. This is how they always begin." Jack felt a chill as he realized that everything Lyra had warned them about was real. The threat wasn't years away. It was already here. As he caught Lyra's gaze, he saw something in her eyes he hadn't noticed before. The Luna base gleamed under Earth's light as the Pathfinder docked in the orbital station. Jack watched through the viewport as a team in white quarantine suits waited in the docking bay. Earth's blue sphere filled the background, beautiful and unaware of the danger approaching it. "They're going to separate us," Lyra said quietly beside him. She had changed into a simple gray jumpsuit provided by the crew. "Your leaders don't trust me." "Can you blame them?" Jack asked. "First contact is a big deal for us. And your warning about the Krell. They won't believe it until it's too late," Lyra finished. Her golden eyes reflected the Earth's light. "The Krell count on this. They want species to argue among themselves until the main attack force arrives." Before Jack could respond, Captain Frost approached them. "It's time," she said. "Commander Nelson, you'll be debriefed separately. The alien will be taken to a secure facility." "Her name is Lyra," Jack said firmly. "And she's helped us." Frost's expression softened slightly. "I know, but these are our orders." The airlock opened, and men in quarantine suits entered. They surrounded Lyra, keeping their distance, as if she might be dangerous. "Lieutenant Commander Nelson, please come with me," said a stern-looking officer with the insignia of Earth Defense Command. Jack looked at Lyra one last time. She gave him a small smile, but her eyes held worry. "I'll find you," he promised quietly. For the next 3 days, Jack was kept in a debriefing facility at Luna Base. Officials from Earth Defense Command questioned him repeatedly about Lyra and the Krell. They seemed more interested in Astrali technology than the threat the Krell posed. On the 4th day, Diana and Sam found him in the base cafeteria. "Have you seen the news?" Diana asked, sliding into the seat across from him. Jack shook his head. "They've kept me isolated." Sam looked around to make sure no one was listening. "They're calling Lyra a potential biological threat. They've moved her to a high-security lab on the far side of the moon." "What about the Krell ships we detected?" Jack asked. "Earth Command is saying they were just sensor ghosts," Diana replied. "They don't believe they were real." Jack set down his fork. "We all saw them. The energy signatures matched exactly what Lyra described." "The politicians are fighting about what to do," Sam said. "Some want to prepare defenses. Others are saying it would cause panic." Jack stood up. "I need to see Lyra. She knows more than she's told us." "Impossible," Diana said. "The facility is locked down tight." Sam leaned forward. "Maybe not. I've been working with the base engineers. I might know a way in." Later that night, using access codes Sam had borrowed from the chief engineer, they made their way through maintenance tunnels to the secure wing. Jack's heart pounded as they approached the lab where Lyra was being held. Through a small observation window, they could see her. She sat alone in a white room, various sensors monitoring her. She looked smaller somehow, her violet skin dull under the harsh lights. When Jack tapped on the glass, she looked up. Relief washed over her face as she recognized him. Sam worked on the door controls while Diana kept watch. The door slid open with a soft hiss. "You came," Lyra said as Jack entered. "I promised, didn't I?" he replied. "What are they doing to you?" "Tests. Many tests." She stood up. "But that doesn't matter now. Jack, the Krell fleet is coming. My people have an outpost in your solar system, on Europa. We need to get there." "An outpost? You never mentioned this before." Lyra's eyes met his. "I wasn't sure I could trust you then. Now I have no choice. The outpost has communication equipment that can contact my homeworld and defensive technology that could help protect Earth." An alarm suddenly blared through the facility. Diana rushed into the room. "They've detected us. We need to go now." "Jack," Lyra said urgently, grabbing his arm. "Your people aren't ready to face the Krell alone. We need to reach the Europa outpost." Jack looked between his friends and Lyra. He was a military officer, sworn to follow orders. But if Lyra was right, Earth's survival might depend on breaking those orders. "How do we get to Europa?" he asked. Lyra's face broke into a relieved smile. "There's an experimental shuttle in the north hangar. I can modify its engines to get us there faster. As security forces approached, Jack made his decision. Sometimes, saving humanity meant breaking the rules. The experimental shuttle shook as it pushed beyond its designed limits. Jack gripped the control panel, watching as Jupiter grew larger in the view screen. The giant planet's swirling storms looked peaceful from a distance, but he knew their power could tear the small ship apart. "Are you sure this is safe?" Diana asked from behind him. "No," Jack replied honestly, "but we don't have much choice." In the back of the shuttle, Lyra worked with Sam to modify the engines. Her violet hands moved with surprising skill as she adjusted Earth technology. "The military ships will be following us," Jack said. "How much longer?" "Almost done," Lyra called. "This shuttle wasn't designed for this kind of speed, but it will hold together." 3 hours earlier, they had escaped from Luna Base in chaos. Alarms blared as they rushed to the North Hangar and took the experimental shuttle. Earth authorities had sent messages ordering them to return, but Jack had shut off communications. There was no going back now. Europa came into view, a small moon covered in ice, orbiting the massive gas giant. Its surface was cracked like broken glass, with lines stretching across the frozen landscape. "Where exactly is this outpost?" Sam asked as they approached. Lyra moved to the front of the shuttle. "There," she said, pointing to a region near Europa's equator. "Below the ice. The entrance is hidden in one of the larger cracks." Jack guided the shuttle toward the coordinates Lyra provided. As they descended toward the icy surface, he could see the massive crack that split the moon's crust. It looked like a deep canyon carved into the ice. "Slow down," Lyra instructed. There. A section of ice suddenly glowed with a soft blue light as they approached. It pulsed in a pattern similar to the one they had seen on Lyra's ship. "It recognizes me," Lyra explained. "The entrance is opening." The ice below them shifted and parted, revealing a dark tunnel leading deep beneath the surface. Jack carefully piloted the shuttle into the opening. The ice closed behind them, hiding them from any pursuing ships. The tunnel was lined with the same blue lights they had seen on Lyra's ship. After several minutes of descent, they emerged into a vast underground cavern. In the center stood structures unlike anything Jack had ever seen, buildings made of a crystalline material that seemed to grow from the ice itself, glowing with soft colors. "Welcome to the Europa outpost," Lyra said, her voice filled with pride. It was established 5,000 years ago to monitor Earth's development. They landed the shuttle near the largest structure. As they stepped outside, Jack was surprised to find the air breathable but cold. The gravity felt lighter than Earth's, making each step feel bouncy. "Someone's coming," Diana said, pointing to a group approaching from the main building. 5 figures walked toward them. They looked similar to Lyra, violet skin with luminescent patterns, but their clothing and markings were different. Their expressions showed clear shock at seeing humans with Lyra. The tallest of the group stepped forward. "Lyra, how did you?" He stopped when he saw Jack and the others. "You brought humans here. This violates all protocols." "We have no choice, Elder Karn," Lyra replied. "The Krell have reached this system. Earth is in danger." The group of Astrali looked at each other with concern. Elder Karn's face grew serious. "Come," he finally said. "We have much to discuss." Inside the main structure, Jack was amazed by the beauty of the Astrali architecture. Walls curved in impossible ways, and ceiling panels showed moving images of stars and planets. In a central chamber, Elder Karn turned to face them. "Lyra, explain why you have brought humans to our hidden outpost." "Earth will fall without help," she said simply. "And if Earth falls, so will the Astrali eventually. These humans deserve to know the truth." "What truth?" Jack asked, looking between Lyra and Elder Karn. Lyra took a deep breath. "The full truth about humanity's origins and why you are so important in the fight against the Krell." Elder Karn nodded slowly. "Show them." A panel in the center of the room opened, revealing a small pedestal. Lyra placed her hand on it, and a holographic image appeared above it, an image of primitive Earth, millions of years in the past. Humans were not a natural evolution, Lyra said softly. You were seeded by the Astrali as an experiment in adaptability. The Pathfinder's bridge was tense as it approached Earth. Jack stood beside Captain Frost, who had surprisingly agreed to help after seeing the evidence from Europa. On the main screen, dozens of Earth defense ships formed a protective line around the planet. All ships are in position, Communications Officer Ben Miller reported. But the Krell fleet outnumbers us 3-1. Jack looked at the tactical display. The Krell ships had appeared 2 days ago, a fleet of dark, angular vessels that moved with frightening precision. Earth had barely had time to prepare. Are the modified shields holding? Jack asked. Science Officer Kate Miller nodded. The Astrali technology is working. Our shields are twice as strong as before. Lyra entered the bridge alongside Elder Karn, who had insisted on coming to Earth. After learning that humans were part of an ancient Astrali experiment, seeded on Earth to develop adaptability through struggle, Jack had been angry at first. But as Lyra explained, he came to understand. The Astrali evolved in peace. She had told him, we never developed the ability to face threats like the Krell. Humans evolved through constant challenges, making you uniquely able to adapt and survive. Now that adaptation would be tested. The Krell fleet moved closer, their black ships forming attack formations. They're targeting our largest cities, Kate reported. All ships prepare to engage, Captain Frost ordered. Remember the plan. The plan had come from Jack, a strategy so unconventional that Elder Karn had called it typically human. Instead of meeting the Krell head-on, Earth's ships would attack from multiple angles, using the moon's gravity to slingshot around in unpredictable patterns. The Krell rely on logical battle patterns, Lyra had explained. Your unpredictability is your strength. As the battle began, Jack watched the Earth ships execute his plan. They moved in ways no Astrali commander would have attempted, risking damage to gain better attack positions, sacrificing perfect formations for surprise attacks. The Krell ships, despite their advanced technology, struggled to adapt to the chaotic human tactics. It's working, Diana said from her position at the medical station. They can't predict our movements. But the Krell commander was learning. 3 Earth ships exploded as a large Krell vessel focused its weapons on them. They're targeting our command ships now, Sam reported from engineering. They're adapting. Jack looked at Lyra. We need to target their command ship. Without central coordination, they'll be disorganized. Lyra pointed to the largest Krell vessel at the center of their formation. That one. But it's heavily protected. Not from below, Jack said, studying the tactical display. Captain, if we take the Pathfinder underneath their formation and attack from below, we might reach their command ship. Captain Frost studied the plan for only a moment before nodding. It's risky, but it might work. Helm, take us down and around. The Pathfinder dove beneath the battle, using Earth's atmosphere to partially hide its approach. The ship shook violently as they skimmed the upper atmosphere. Shields at 40%, Sam reported. Hold together, Jack whispered. As they came up beneath the Krell command ship, Jack gave the order. Fire everything. The Pathfinder's weapons, enhanced with Astrali technology, struck the vulnerable underside of the Krell vessel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then explosions rippled across the massive ship as critical systems failed. Their command ship is losing power, Kate reported excitedly. Their fleet formation is breaking apart. Without central coordination, the Krell ships began to retreat, unable to maintain their attack without their commander. 2 days later, as Earth celebrated its victory, Jack stood with Lyra in the newly established Astrali embassy. Through the window, they could see people gathering in the streets below, some carrying signs welcoming their new alien allies. This is only the beginning, Lyra said. The main Krell force will come eventually. And we'll be ready, Jack replied. Humans and Astrali together. Lyra turned to him with a smile. When I first sent that signal from my damaged ship, I wasn't sure if humans would help an alien in distress. You took a chance on us, Jack said. I did. And when you walked into my ship, I knew I had made the right choice. Her golden eyes met his. I knew you would come. Jack thought about everything that had happened, how a simple rescue mission had changed humanity's destiny forever. Earth was now aware it wasn't alone in the universe. Humans and Australia were working together to prepare for future threats. What happens now? He asked. Lyra's patterns glowed softly as she took his hand. Now we build a bridge between our worlds. The Australi have knowledge and technology. Humans have courage and adaptability.